I'm Taylor. I'm the graduate assistant for outdoor recreation, and this is...
Hey, I'm Dr. Todd Davis. I'm the program director for outdoor recreation, and we are here to provide you Wednesday's Wilderness Wisdom.
Okay, today we're going to talk about outdoor basics. One of the first things you should do is plan ahead, plan your route and where you're going to go.
Which you could get maps, you could ask friends. There's lots of different resources that you should use or could use to find out where you're going, but that's always a good thing. Plan ahead. The next thing you really should do is check the weather. We've been out a couple times with rain.
Mm-hmm.
We sea kayaked on Lake Ouachita with rain, but we also knew that it was only going to rain for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
Because we checked the weather long range. So checking the weather. Also checking for permits or reservations is necessary for certain areas like the U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, and some fish and game management areas.
There are also permits for having a stove or a fire in some forests that you have to be prepared for.
There are even some permits to even access a particular trail.
Another thing to look at is your bathroom requirements. Some places you need to build a cat hole, some places have toilets, and some places you need maybe a bucket and a bag.
Yeah, definitely know where to go. And what were you saying earlier? That
the wilderness is not your litter box.
Hey now. The next thing we're going to talk about for outdoor basics is the necessary gear. Now look, folks, let me just put on my glasses for this. This can get very technical because it's based on what you need for the activity that you're doing. But the basics, right? If you're going to go out in the outdoors, you're going to need some outdoor clothing, things that are going to keep you warm. You're definitely going to need a tent, a sleeping bag. There are lots of different stove and gas stove options. Non-perishable foods. We typically in our outdoor program use a lot of those non-perishable foods, and they're good, and they can be, jazzed up with the right amount of seasoning and salts and so on. And then of course water, Nalgene bottles or any kind of sustainable water bottle that you could bring with you, and bring your own water that you can find in the tap is always recommended. We talked about weather appropriate clothing, and then one thing that's probably overlooked the most is a small first aid kit. And I will add to that too, knowing whether or not you're allergic to any animals, bugs, spiders, and having some of those necessary mitigation efforts in a first aid kit would be definitely worthwhile looking into.
Yeah, another important thing about being outdoors is taking your trash with you. Even if you see trash on the ground, pick up other trash that might be left there and your own trash and take it with you to dispose of properly and not leave on the ground.
And we as an outdoor program, we always try to leave our places better than we found them. The last thing, which is a really important thing and probably could be talked about for quite a long time, is an emergency action plan or an emergency plan of evacuation. So these things are really mitigated on risk and evaluation and how you go about making sure that everyone in your group has a sort of some type of an emergency plan. That would include knowing your local county ranger stations or sheriffs or any kind of 911. In some cases, you may be going to a place that doesn't have cell phone coverage. So knowing your immediate out or where that coverage might be would be definitely a thoughtful process. And then Taylor has talked about knowing where your hospitals are. Luckily, most areas that you go to that we live near, villages will have the blue sign for hospitals. So just on your way into certain places or before you go when you're planning, check and see where your local hospital is, just in case you need to go there quickly.
Or even having like an emergency contact card, so if something does happen, no one's around, someone can look for your contact and be able to contact family or friends that might need to know what's happened. Awesome.
This was great. Good job.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone.